My wife didn't get caught cheating, she had it scheduled. Her phone lights up on the counter, buzzing impatiently while I rinse a mug. A message thread is open, no locks, no hiding. It's like it belongs in the room with us. The messages aren't vague or deniable. Plans pile on plans, times, locations, private jokes assumed safe. This isn't flirting or confusion. It's routine. My stomach tightens, but my face stays still as I finish rinsing the mug and dry my hands slowly. Shared calendar alert slides onto my screen, synced everywhere. The same shorthand name I saw, recurring blocks I never noticed before, weekly, then biweekly, color-coded, almost considerate. The truth begins to sink. She talks about ordinary things. I nod, pour coffee, hand her sugar. My heart pounds loud but trapped behind glass. I don't ask, I don't confront. I stay exactly who I was 5 minutes ago, but everything inside me shatters. She leaves, I scroll past what I should, farther back than expected. The timestamps change, but the tone never does. It hits me fully, not a recent mistake, not a slip. This has a history, and I am stuck in the middle, pretending the walls aren't closing in. Once you see it, everything rewrites. I replay weeks like surveillance footage, late errands that don't fit. Her phone angled away at night. Her sudden obsession with calendars, routines, optimization, smiles at nothing, which I thought was work. I told myself not to be paranoid. She cools off deliberately, not in big dramas, but with precision. Replies short, eye contact fades, affection becomes scheduled, half-hearted, then disappears entirely. She leaves rooms when I linger, listens just long enough to seem annoyed. Criticism creeps in, first small and helpful, how I load the dishwasher, tell stories, chew, then sharper. A sigh when I forget minor things, flinching at my touch like I am a burden, not anger, contempt, casual and efficient. I tell myself to be quieter, easier, more agreeable. I absorb the cold, show up tired, distracted, half present. People notice. Someone asks if I am sleeping well, I lie without thinking. Each day I shrink further into the background. Suddenly, her friend is everywhere. Long calls behind closed doors, shared jokes that stop when I come in. I hear my name once, then silence. She locks her phone, now no explanations needed. The house feels smaller, and I move like a guest in my own home. One night, I pause outside a room. Her laughter, not polite or stressed, loose and unguarded. It's about me, my habits, my confusion, my state. She shares it like an anecdote, light and guiltless. This is no longer hidden, it's active. And I am already late. Like a quiet decision. Not yet, not now. I need clarity, not relief. Speaking will harden the shape of things, and I am not ready. Silence becomes my tool, not a wound, but a shield. I let myself slip, purposely fragile, tired, foggy. Appointments missed. Groceries forgotten. Coming late without explanations. I stop correcting her small mistakes about me. My tiredness shows, shoulders round. Fog clings, easier than pretending strength. And it gives her a story she's eager to believe. Weekends get booked without me. Money moves quietly. A trip pops up on the calendar I am not part of. Streaming services change. Joint accounts close. Beneficiary forms update, all under the guise of being organized. Each choice erases me a little more. A mutual acquaintance avoids me suddenly. A coworker hints at stress at home, as if the story is already framed for them. Exposure isn't just catching her, it's surviving the fallout. She relaxes as I shrink, confident in my silence, planning around me. Leaves her phone unlocked more often. Talks aloud as if I am furniture. Eye rolls, smirks, public corrections. Jokes about my memory and energy become tests. Every time I don't react, she pushes harder. Anger burns, then fades into cold resolve inside me. I start watching, cataloging dates, screenshots silently taken, patterns lock in. I let her think the imbalance is permanent and my silence ignorance behind the scenes. I am building my own case quietly, deliberately, with patience sharper than anger. One long evening, she talks about growth, momentum, how some stall expecting others to wait. She doesn't accuse me directly, but the truth hangs heavy. I am no partner, just an obstacle she's maneuvering around. Nights stretch longer, excuses thin out and vanish. Keys dropped loudly on the counter, phones left unlocked on tables and couches, not trust but confidence. The boundaries she once guarded dissolve, signaling a new, disarming chapter of control and disrespect. Eye rolls, smirks, sharp public corrections. Jokes about my memory and usefulness turn into tests. Each time I hold still, she presses harder. The hurt fades, replaced by a chilling distance. I stop hoping for kindness and start watching her every move. Pull bank statements, compare months, spot withdrawals that don't fit. I flag a credit card I didn't know existed, checking receipts against claimed whereabouts. I save copies outside the house. learning her spending rhythm and the empty spaces where explanations should be. I realize she is not alone. Names I know attached to transactions. Someone I met. Someone who has been in our home. I see how trust's assumed access spreads, and how easy it would be to rewrite stories if I stay silent too long. No anger, no confusion. I nod, listen. Absorb. My face goes neutral, unreadable even to myself. Inside, lines connect. Cause and effect clear. Preparation replaces pain. Calm settles where chaos once ruled. Late afternoon, tracing a misplaced transfer. I find legal emails she didn't delete, consultations framed as errands. Talks of timing and leverage, leaving wasn't the goal. This was about control. The game is far bigger and darker than I imagined. Normal day, the line crossed. I spot a large, cleared transfer to a new account in her name only, created weeks ago. Not accident or test, a clean move aligning with nights I didn't question. The battle is underway, silent and ruthless. Mutual contact stops answering. Another replies cautiously, formally, by nightfall. A carefully edited version of me circulates exhausted, unstable, checked out. The narrative moves ahead, prepped for sympathy. I see it as no longer just about catching her, it is about surviving what is next. Fear strikes sharp and fast, not panic, but deep awareness. Money gone, reputation bending. The ground beneath me negotiable, anger flares, focused. This isn't collateral damage, it is a calculated strategy designed to erase me beyond cheating. I dive deeper, confirming dates, pulling message copies, discovering drafts of unsent plans outlining outcomes. This has been rehearsed for long. Leaving was never the aim. Control was always the mission behind the facade. New enemies emerge, advisors, processes designed to move fast once triggered. I realize how little time remains once paperwork starts and silence can be mistaken for consent. The stakes grow sharper by the hour, and I prepare for the fight ahead. Resolve locks in. I stop hesitating, secure what I can, document everything, move assets out of reach. Reach out selectively for protection, not a word to her, no warnings, no reveals. Preparation is silent but fierce. That night, a message chain left open on a shared device. Her confidence, relaxed tone about timing and guaranteed outcomes. She thinks it is over. She thinks I am defeated. For the first time, I know exactly where the confrontation will land. Proof comes faster than I imagine. Numbers tell a story. Transfers looping through hidden accounts. Filings with mismatched dates. Expenses labeled as work matching nights she was gone. Each document sharpens the picture until truth is undeniable. Mistake is small, but critical. Confidence breeds carelessness. She uses a device I thought abandoned, leaves a draft open too long, overlaps stories never meant to touch, too signed. Contradictory versions of the same event exposed. Time becomes a new obstacle. Once moves start, they move fast. The weight bears down heavily. But I don't rush. I prioritize sequence over speed, back up evidence safely, get independent checks, and quietly start closing doors she thought open. Secure legal footing first, then social, correct records without confronting her. Let key people know there is more beneath the surface carefully, selectively. The isolation she built around me starts to crack. And I am no longer alone. The emotional shift is subtle but real. Fear fades into sharp focus. Anger becomes irrelevant, replaced by calm clarity. I stop reacting and start anticipating her every move. I watch the pattern of someone who believes they re-winning, growing careless. She leans harder into that false belief, schedules meetings, shares just enough narrative to seem generous and reasonable. The mask doesn't slip it as set aside, exposing new levels of cold calculation and momentum she believes unstoppable. Speaks of outcomes like they refixed, organizes days around assumptions that rely on my silence. Her momentum builds toward a reveal she believes will flatten me completely unaware. Each step leaves clearer, damning trails behind her. Each move forward narrows her choices. She has setting a stage lit from angles she never checked. When the lights come up, she control what everyone sees. Her carefully built story begins to crumble from within. Reveal unfolds in a neutral room, too bright, too quiet. People she never expected hear everything at once. I don't speak first. Facts roll out clean and unarguable. Financial records aligned perfectly with her lies. Communications pulled from forgotten places. Her rehearsed narrative slowly crumbles. She tries to pivot, adjust, but every move exposes more contradictions. Control slips. Pens pause, attention shifts, the net tightens, and the belief in her own version fades before our eyes. New obstacle emerges. Silence, not supportive, but waiting. She fills it poorly. I remain still, grounded, present. Brief answers when asked, no embellishments, no defenses beyond the truth, nothing left to defend anymore. Her leverage drains away, assumptions collapse, sympathy thin as details pile up. Control is lost, not taken, vanishing as consequences land without drama or theatrics. A new equilibrium begins to form. Something loosens inside me, not triumph, but relief. Dignity returns like circulation after pressure lifts. I am no longer seen as a problem to manage, but as a person regaining strength and presence. What's done? There's no grand statement, no victory lap. The outcome moves forward without my input. Systems engage, decisions record themselves. I stand before she does, calm, collected, leaving her with the wreckage of the story she tried to write alone. The quiet comes first, not relief or triumph, but settling after motion stops. The house rearranges around absence. Drawers hold fewer objects, mornings lose friction. I learn the shape of my days, free to move forward with procedural stillness. I review the marriage without sentimentality, what it was, what it never became. How I filled gaps with optimism, confused routine with stability, mistook silence for peace. The story dissolves, not a lie, but incomplete. I let the past stand, fragile and over. The pain doesn't leave. It shifts temperature, sharpens into clarity that simplifies everything. I stop searching for missing explanations. The patterns the calendar blocks, contempt. Laughter without me become enough. Understanding arrives quietly and stays. Consequences ripple beyond us. Friends choose sides in silence. Invitations dry up. Mutual acquaintances inquire, then disappear. Rumors surface at work, cleaned of names but unmistakable. Exposure leaves residue. And I learn who prefers distance from compromised truths. I reclaim myself quietly. No performances, no speeches, no reinvention. I eat when hungry, sleep when tired, stop editing reactions for an absent audience. Anger flares and fades. Guilt follows, then releases. What remains is durable, unromantic resolve. Freedom makes no grand announcements, no applause, it feels honest. And honesty carries risk once accepted. There's no return to comforting ignorance. I move forward with clear knowledge, aware some doors close quietly, leaving only their final sounds behind. The house echoes with absence. Drawers hold fewer things, rooms grow quiet. I learn to live again without compromise. Separation is procedural, not dramatic. Papers move, accounts divide, rooms empty. And I unfold into a new reality defined by stillness and acceptance. Stop fighting the past, no longer sentimental, no longer hopeful for what could have been. The story I told myself breaks down, not because it was false, but incomplete. I face the truth, limited, fragile, finished. Patterns replace what explanations couldn't fill. Calendar blocks, cold contempt. Laughter without me, they speak volumes. Understanding arrives simply and without fanfare, settling in like an unshakable truth. Friends shift quietly, choosing sides unannounced. Invitations stop coming. Concerned questions to a mutual acquaintance fade to silence. At work, rumors circle clean but pointed. Exposure scours the social fabric. And I learn who steps away and who stays. I don't reinvent myself, no speeches or grand gestures. I simply live honestly, eat when hungry, sleep when tired, express freely without performance. Anger comes and goes, guilt arrives and releases. What stays is lasting resolve, unvarnished and real. Honesty accompanies freedom quietly and firmly. It isn't loud or celebratory, it is steady and carries risk. Once truth is embraced, there's no turning back to comforting ignorance. I move forward fully aware, letting some doors close softly behind me. Story ends not with noise but in silence. I walk away calmly without looking back. She remains with the wreckage she tried to create alone. Ahead, silence returns, but now, it's mine, peaceful and commanding in its finality. Calm settles after the storm. The house rearranges around absence. Objects disappear from drawers. Mornings become smoother. Days take shape anew without negotiation. Separation feels procedural, not dramatic, but deeply real and irrevocable. I face the past without anger or longing. What it was and wasn't comes clearly into view. Optimism once filled gaps, silence disguised unrest. The story I told myself dissolves not as a lie, but as an incomplete truth now accepted and left behind. Ache doesn't vanish but transforms. Pain sharpens into clarity that simplifies everything. No more chasing elusive answers. The clear patterns, the calendar events, the bitterness. The laughter without me become enough to understand the whole truth. Consequences spread. Friends quietly pick sides. Invitations dry up. Mutual acquaintances inquire, then disappear. Rumors circulate at work, cleaned of names but unmistakable. Exposure leaves its mark. and I learn who distances themselves and who stays close. I live without disguise or performance. No speeches, no reinvention. I eat when hungry and sleep when tired. I stop filtering reactions for an audience that no longer exists. Anger flares and fades. Guilt arrives, then releases. What remains is steadfast resolve. Freedom's quiet honesty comes with risk. Once accepted, there's no going back to comfort in ignorance. I step forward carrying knowledge with clear eyes, aware that some doors close softly, but their end is final and irreversible. The silence I embrace now isn't emptiness. It's filled with knowledge, strength, and control. It's the calm after the storm, the space where I regain the power that was quietly taken from me. In silence, I find my voice again. I believed I was already defeated, that the game was hers to win. But the truth I uncovered flips the script. The confrontation is coming, and it will take her by surprise. The story she crafted alone will unravel on her watch. Financial records, dates, messages, they all align. Transfers through hidden accounts, contradictory filings, expenses linked to her false stories. Each piece reveals a bigger, undeniable truth I can no longer ignore. Small mistake reveals everything. Reused device, open drafts, overlapping stories meant to stay separate. Confidence makes her careless, and that carelessness exposes a plan she can't withdraw now. Once triggered, the process moves fast, but I don't rush, prioritizing order and precision. I back up proof, verify facts independently, and lock doors silently that she thought were still open. I secure legal ground, then social footing, correct records without confrontation, inform key allies discreetly. The isolation she built shatters quietly as I reclaim my space and control with quiet, steady authority. She underestimates the calm Ivy found. Where she expected fear and defeat, she finds silence and strength. The game changes when you stop playing by their rules and start shaping new ones in shadows. She discards the mask I once glimpsed. Now, her cold calculation reveals a momentum of control. She references future victories like they already sealed. Unaware her growing confidence is the net tightening around her. Every confident step leaves clearer digital footprints. Each email, call, and transaction is a thread I follow. She is unknowingly setting her own traps, weaving the story that will undo her with undeniable evidence. Anticipate her moves, no longer reacting but foreseeing. Her belief in looming victory blinds her to the chaos she sows around herself. The stage is set for her downfall, lit from angles she never checked. When the lights go up, her control dissolves not by force but by truth. The audience shifts. Her rehearsed lines falter, and the reality she tried to shape stands firm. The moment of exposure arrives with calm inevitability. The reveal happens where stories can't be spun in public, too bright and quiet, with people who never expected to hear everything. I remain silent first. Facts roll out clean, leaving no room for doubt or denial. Evidence unfolds in sequence. Financial records, conflicting dates, messages pulled from forgotten places. No drama, no commentary, just facts arranged so clearly they can be ignored or twisted anymore. Her carefully built story collapses slowly. Then all at once, attempts to adjust expose new contradictions. The net tightens, pens pause, heads turn. The version she rehearsed has nowhere left to land. Silence grows not supportive, but expectant. She struggles to fill it, fumbling. I stay grounded, steady, answering only when asked. No exaggerations, no stories beyond the truth. Nothing left to explain, nothing more to defend. Her power drains as assumptions fall away. Sympathy thins as details accumulate. Control slips not rested, but lost naturally as consequences arrive quietly, without theatrics, revealing new order replacing old balances. Inside, I feel a loosened chest, a relief, not triumph. Dignity returns, quietly and steadily like refreshed circulation after pressure eases. I am no longer a problem to manage, but a person regaining presence and respect. When it is done, there are no final words or celebrations. The outcome moves forward independently. Systems engage. Decisions record themselves. I am ready to move on, calm and collected, before she even realizes how far ahead I was. Walk away calmly, not looking back right away. Behind me, she sits with exposed truth. Ahead, silence waits. But now it's mine, full of strength, peace, and the finality only truth can bring. Quiet fills the void left by motion. The house holds emptier spaces. Objects disappear. Days settle into a new rhythm without negotiation. Separation is procedural, not loud, but deeply real, marking an irrevocable new chapter. I review what was and wasn't free of sentiment. How often I confused routine for stability, silence for peace. The story wasn't false, just incomplete. Now I accept it as finished, limited, fragile. Pain changes form, sharpening into clarity that eases confusion. Missing answers fall away, clear patterns, calendar blocks. The cold tone, laughter without me speak volumes. Understanding arrives without ceremony and stays for good. Friends take silent sides. Invitations fade. Mutual acquaintances ask questions then vanish. Rumors stir at work, nameless but pointed. Exposure marks the social landscape, revealing who distances and who remains connected. I don't play roles anymore. No performances, speeches, or reinventions. I eat, sleep, and express truth freely. Emotions come and go. But what remains is a quiet, durable resolve born of honesty and self-awareness. Freedom is quiet, honest, and risky. Accepting it means no return to comforting illusions. I carry this truth onward, knowing some doors close softly but never reopen, a final, unspoken closure to a painful chapter. The silence now holds power filled with clarity, calm, and reclaimed control. It is the strength that comes from watching the pieces fall into place and knowing the truth no longer hides in shadows but stands openly in the light. Thought I'd broken, that quiet resignation meant defeat, but my silence was steel. My calm resolve unbreakable. The confrontation looming will catch her unready, unraveling the story she tried to control alone. Every document, transfer, and date coalesces into a truth I can ignore. Hidden accounts, mismatched filings, expenses linked to nights she vanished all paint a picture of betrayal carefully planned and undeniable. Carelessness in device reuse, open message drafts, overlapping false narratives, each small blunder fractures her carefully held control. Confidence turns to carelessness, and carelessness becomes the key to her undoing. Time pressures mount, moving quickly once started. But I maintain steady order, backing up files, verifying facts, locking doors quietly. Precision wins over haste, and control shifts steadily to me. Legal ground secured leads to social ones, records corrected without confrontation, trusted allies informed carefully. The social isolation once imposed on me begins to crack as alliances quietly form around the truth. Where she aimed to break me, I reclaim strength and calm. The game changes when silence becomes a weapon of resolve, when quiet planning replaces fear, and when calm eyes see through manipulations. Cold mask drops, unveiling true intent. Confident references to future victories reveal a momentum based on assumptions. I am quietly dismantling through every uncovered thread and overlooked detail. Each email, call, and transaction traces back to her, weaving a net tightening around her lies, unseen by her. The digital trail maps the story that will undo her carefully orchestrated facade. No longer reacting blindly, I anticipate her steps. Her confidence blinds her, causing missteps. The stage she built is lit from angles revealing her, and I stand ready for the moment of exposure. When the reveal happens, control slips away naturally as the clean, undeniable truth emerges. What she built teeters, unable to hold against the weight of facts and silent witnesses to the unraveling story. Attempts to adjust and explain only expose more contradictions. The net tightens with every sentence, her story crumbling slowly before a watching audience that senses the truth behind the facade. Silence fills the room, waiting and expectant. She stumbles trying to fill it. I stay steady, grounded, answering briefly and truthfully, nothing left to defend. The truth stands unchallenged and increasingly clear. Grip on power fades as assumptions collapse and sympathy evaporates. Control slips away naturally, consequences landing quietly but firmly, allowing a new order to quietly assert itself. Inside, relief replaces pain. Dignity returns slowly, quietly like breath after being held too long. I am no longer a problem to manage, but a person reclaiming presence and strength in an uncertain world. There are no grand celebrations, only calm resolution. The systems within which decisions move engage without my input, and I walk forward with steady steps, confident and composed, ready for the next chapter. Silence is no longer absence but strength. It holds the final power earned through patience, observation, and unshakable resolve. In that quiet, I reclaim control over my own narrative for the first time in a long while. She watches me, eyes wide with shock as I move with calm certainty. Her realization dawns slowly. Winning required my ignorance, and I was never ignorant. The quiet victory is a truth she cannot undo. I leave behind the wreckage she tried to build alone. My steps are even and quiet. The silence that follows is mine, now full of strength, acceptance, and a peaceful determination to move forward on my own terms. The quiet that fills the space isn't emptiness, but a signal, a new beginning. Drawers hold fewer things, mornings lose friction. Days gain new shapes free from compromise. Separation is procedural, deeply real, and final. Acceptance frees me from illusion. Silence that once felt like peace was just absence of conflict. I move on knowing what was, what never was, and what has ended. Acknowledging the story's limits and fragile truths. No longer seeking missing pieces. I see patterns enough, calendar blocks, contempt. Laughter without me, they speak volumes. Understanding comes plainly, stays firmly, and allows me to live knowing what's real and what's over. Friends take silent sides. Invitations end. Mutual acquaintances inquire then vanish. At work, rumors spread name free but clear. Exposure leaves residues that reveal alliances and mark the divides in my social circles. No longer performing. I eat when hungry, sleep when tired, express feelings freely. Anger flames briefly, then cools. Guilt passes, release holds. What remains is unpretentious. Steady resolve to live life on my own terms again. Freedom doesn't roar. It whispers honesty with risk. Once taken, there's no turning back to ignorance. I carry this quiet weight forward, knowing some door closings echo finality behind softly shutting frames. Silence fills the space, not absence, but full of reclaimed strength, clarity, and calm. Watching truth unfold quietly brings power. With this newfound quiet, I reclaim my story and my dignity for the future. Her mistake was thinking I'd crumble silently. Instead, quiet resolve hardened into strength. Confrontation looms, and she'll be shocked when it lands a truth she never saw coming. Dismantling the story she crafted alone. Documents reveal a story she can deny. Hidden accounts, mismatched filings, and false stories expose years of lies carefully planned. Each piece brings me closer to owning the truth and letting go of the past pain. Confidence leads to mistakes, reused devices, careless drafts, overlapping lies. Each flaw crumbles her control and exposes the depth of calculated betrayal she believed hidden forever. Processes speed up. My patience commands. I back up, verify, and secure quietly and steadily. Precision and preparation outlast the rush, shifting the balance toward my favor in this silent war. Legal wins open social doors, records corrected, allies discreetly informed. The isolation dissolves, new support networks solidify, bringing me back from the edges she pushed me toward alone. Where she intended to break me, silence forged strength, quiet resolve replaced fear. Calm eyes saw through deceptions. The game changes when you start playing on your own terms, in the quiet shadows of patience and preparation. She discards her mask, cold calculation plain to see. Her confidence sealed future plans that now crumble as I dismantle every thread she meticulously wove with quiet, relentless scrutiny. Each crossed email, transaction, and call reveals a path tightening the noose. Unaware, she crafts the narrative that will bury her, leaving me free to rebuild from the wreckage she left behind. I anticipate each step, unmoved and prepared. Her overconfidence blinds her to the coming collapse. The stage is set, lights are on, and the moment of reckoning is nearly here. When exposure comes, control slips naturally, overtaken by truth's clarity. The structure she built falls apart, leaving only facts and silent witnesses to the unvarnished reality standing firm. Attempts to explain falter as contradictions multiply. The tightening net leaves no escape. The rehearsed story, once strong, collapses under the weight of its own inconsistencies. Heavy silence waits, unbroken and expectant. She stumbles and falters, attempting to fill it, while I remain steady and grounded. The brevity of my truthful responses underscores the crumbling facade. Her power slips away as assumptions turn hollow and sympathy wanes. Control isn't wrested, but quietly lost, yielding to the inexorable force of truth and consequence taking their rightful place. Thin, relief replaces pain. Dignity returns quietly like breath flowing again after being held too long. I am seen again. No longer a problem, but a person reclaiming respect and presence in this new reality. There is no need for fanfare or final words. Systems operate, decisions proceed. I walk forward calmly, confident, and composed, ready to embrace the next chapter with strength and clarity. Silence now bears strength and clarity. It is filled with the power born of resolution and observation. Through quiet watchfulness, Ivy reclaimed my voice and laid claim to my story once more. Her eyes widen in shock as she watches me move with calm certainty. Her belief in my ignorance crumbles. The quiet victory I hold is a truth she never saw coming and cannot undo. I leave behind the ruins she created, steps even and steady. The silence that follows reverberates with newfound strength, acceptance, and peaceful resolve to face a future on my own terms. Space filled with quiet signals freedom, not emptiness, but a powerful new beginning. Drawers emptied, mornings calm, days reshaped by peace. Separation is procedural, real, and final, opening the door to a fresh start. I look back without illusions. I see where hope once filled gaps and silence masked unrest. The story was never false, only incomplete. Acceptance brings peace with what wasn't, and what ended forever. Clear patterns replace unanswered questions. Calendar blocks, cold indifference. Laughter without me all speak volumes. Understanding comes simply, stays firmly, and frees me to move forward without doubt or regret. Friends take sides quietly, invitations cease. Mutual acquaintances inquire then vanish, rumors spread, refined and nameless. Exposure leaves its mark, reshaping my social world with unseen but felt consequences. Live without masks or pretenses. I eat when hungry, sleep when tired, show feelings freely. Emotions come and go, but steadfast resolve guides me, born of honesty and a refusal to be diminished again. Honesty carries quiet courage and unyielding weight. Accepting it means no return to comforting falsehoods. I carry it forward, knowing some doors close softly, but never reopen, signaling finality with gentle sound. Silence is not absence, but strength, filled with clarity and calm. It births power born of patient watchfulness. In this quiet, I reclaim my voice and own my story with renewed dignity and strength. Her surprise at my calm certainty says it all. She believed I was ignorant, but I was watching. The quiet victory I hold is a truth she can undo, a final, unspoken power she never anticipated. Leave the story wreckage behind, my steps measured and calm. The silence that follows is filled with strength and acceptance. I am ready to face what comes next on my own terms, quietly and fully myself. Silence fills the empty spaces, signaling new beginnings. The world rearranges without compromise. Separation isn't dramatic but real and procedural, opening space for growth, peace, and a future rebuilt on my own terms. Look back without illusions, seeing where hope masked reality and silence disguised unrest. The story wasn't a lie, just incomplete. Acceptance lets it stand fragile, limited, and finished, giving me peace without false sentiment. Calendar blocks, cold contempt. Laughter without me, they all tell the story. Understanding comes quietly, stays firmly, and frees me to move forward with clarity and without regret, knowing the truth finally uncovered. Freedom doesn't announce itself with fanfare. It arrives quietly, wrapped in truth and acceptance. I move forward with the knowledge I carry, knowing some doors close softly, and their sound is the final word of a chapter closed.